Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Exciting day today because we actually have a pretty special battle here for a couple of different reasons. So, as you guys know, I recently hit my 500 subscriber benchmark here on YouTube, so that's one reason to celebrate. Another little reason to celebrate is that I got for the first time ever, shiny Goodra, totally random, as my 12th shiny here on Scarlet and Violet. So, to commemorate those two things, I wanted to have a special shinies only double battle. So that's exactly what I'm going to do right here. And we're going to go ahead and get into it. That is going to be against Crispy, random person offline. And so, yeah, looking at their team, it looks to be really cool, actually, really original, which is pretty awesome. And looking at my team, it is made up of 6 of the 12 shiny Pokemon that I've encountered here on Scarlet and Violet, of course, including the shiny Goodra, but of course we have the Politoed, Electros, Florges, Oinkalone, and the, of course, Orthworm. So, what do I want to lead with in this one? Not a lot of time to decide, but I think we're going to go with we'll go with the Politoed. And how do we want to play this? What do we think they're going to do? Obviously, double battles are not really my forte here, but yeah, I think we'll go for the Goodra. We'll get the Goodra in right away, and then we'll just see how that works out. We're also going to change the soundtrack for this one, too, to a tune some of you who have the DLC might find familiar. Alright, so there he is. And he's going to go ahead and lead with the Hitmonlee and the Cleaver, as we lead with the Politoed and the Goodra. So we get the Drizzle on the Politoed to make it rain right away, which is going to be nice. I think right out of the gate here, we're just going to go for a Surf, try and hit both their Pokemon as hard as possible. It will hit the Goodra as well, but we do resist it. We're max special defense with an Assault Vest, so, or I should say max HP, so I'm not too worried about taking that attack. And then we're going to go ahead and fire off an Acid Spray on the Cleaver, just in case it has a Focus Sash, which it probably does, is they do switch the Cleaver out, interestingly enough. Don't want to take the Water move. They're going to come in with Metagross, so that sucks just a little bit, as the Hitmonlee going to go for a Swords Dance, which is very interesting. Going to go ahead and give that sharp attack increase. Unfortunately, we go for the Acid Spray on the Metagross, not going to do anything. We go for the Surf here, which is going to do about 50% to both of them. A little more to the Hitmonlee in the rain, which is great, as the Metagross gets some HP back with the leftovers. And now we're a little bit in the danger zone here, but I think we definitely have to go for the Surf again with the Politoed. And I feel like I don't want Goodra in right now. So as much as I don't want to switch, I feel like we might have to. Let's go to... This is not going to be great either way. Yeah, this is not going to be great either way. I'm in a little bit of trouble with that Hitmonlee right now. Well, let's just go to the Oinkalone. It might just end up being a sack play, but I kind of feel like we need to preserve Goodra for later. So we're going to go to Oinkalone, kind of as a sack play here, but we'll see what happens. So there's the Oinkalone, as the Hitmonlee going to go for a Coaching. That's really interesting. That's going to go ahead and increase the Metagross's attack and defense stats, as the Metagross goes for a Rest. So that's super interesting. So the Metagross is going to go ahead and go to sleep, and of course going to go back up to full HP off of that, and no Berry to wake it up, which is nice. We go for the Surf here. It is going to be enough to get rid of that Hitmonlee, which is great, knocking him down to 5, as it does do some pretty significant damage on the Oinkalone as well. The Metagross is going to get some HP back with the leftovers, and the Oinkalone will get some HP back with the leftovers as well. So, We'll see what he wants to bring in response to that. It is going to be the Cleaver once again. So that thing's coming in. And so I kind of want to see, I'm not sure who outspeeds who here. So I'm going to do a quick check here. So Politoed and Oinkologne. The Oinkologne does outspeed, which is good. So, because I feel like we have to go for that. Well, I guess we don't have to go for the Surf. So, yeah, you know what? Screw it. We won't go for the Surf. We don't want to start killing ourselves here. So, let's see. I feel like that Cleaver's going to be Sash. So I kind of want to double up on the Cleaver since the Metagross is asleep, actually. Yeah, so let's Earth Power and let's play rough. Let's double up on the Cleaver. Yeah. So Cleaver going to go for a Bitter Malice. So it's not the Cleaver. It is going to be, of course, the Hisuian Zoroark. Almost forgot they had that. They go for the Bitter Malice. Hits the Politoed for some chip damage. Metagross asleep. Can't do anything. We get an Earth Power off with the Politoed. Ends up being a crit, inflicting massive damage to the Hisuian Zoroark, taking it down to about a third HP. We go for the Play Rough on the Oinkologne, and that is going to take that Hisuian Zoroark out and knock him down to 4. So that worked out pretty well for us, actually. As the Metagross will regain some HP with the leftovers, and the Oinkologne will also regain some HP with the leftovers. So we're not in a bad spot here, honestly. So we'll see what he wants to bring in response. We do have to worry about the Metagross a little bit, as it does have heightened stats. So we might want to start thinking about what we're going to do to that thing. So, but we'll see what he wants to come in with here. So it is going to be the Victory Bell. So that thing's coming in. And so I think what we want to do here, I don't know that we can't really make any risks right now. We're going to try to hit the Metagross, I think, with an Earth Power. And then we're going to, I think we're going to go ahead and fire off a Yawn at the Victory Bell here with the Oinkologne. I think that's our play. So it does unfortunately go for the Leaf Storm, outspeeding everything. Unfortunately will be enough to take our Politoed out there, knocking us down to 5 Pokemon, which is unfortunate, as the Metagross fortunately is still asleep this turn, so that's good news, as he's going to go for a Sleep Talk, so that's interesting, and he's going to land on Zen Headbutt, which is bad. We do survive with the Oinkologne, and we are able to get a Yawn off here on the Victory Bell, which is good. It means that thing is going to go to sleep next turn, unless he switches it out. So the Metagross is going to get some HP back with the leftovers, as is the Oinkologne. So, what do we bring in here to face down this situation? I think it might actually be time to go ahead and get the Electros in. I think that's going to be our play. So we're going to go ahead and come in with the Electros here. And we are going to go ahead and try to set up a coil with the Electros. I think that's going to be our play. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to Stomping Tantrum on the Metagross with the Oinkologne, as Victory Bell does stay in, goes for the Poison Jab, does some chip damage to the Electros. Metagross does wake up, unfortunately, goes for the Sleep Talk, fortunately for us, which is actually going to fail now that it's awake, so that's good news. We get a Stomping Tantrum on that thing with the Oinkologne, going to do some pretty good chip damage, as we are now going to get the Coil on the Electros to go ahead and give us the attack, defense, and accuracy increase. And that accuracy increase is going to be pretty important given the set that we have, as the Metagross is going to get some HP back with the leftovers, as is the Oinkologne, as is the Electros. So leftovers all over the place here, obviously, and then of course the Victory Bell is going to go to sleep this turn, which is going to be huge for us. So I think given this, what we want to do is, I see that Metagross going for a rest here, so we're actually going to go ahead and go for a knockoff on the Metagross with the Electros, and we're going to follow it up with a Stomping Tantrum from the Oinkologne, as the Victory Bell is asleep this turn. I believe 1 sleep turn guaranteed, so nothing that thing can do. Of course, the Metagross is going to go for the rest, unfortunately, which is going to put it back to sleep and heal it all the way back up to full. So that's not good news, but we do get a Stomping Tantrum with the Oinkologne. Going to do some chip damage, not a ton, as we get a knockoff with the Electros on the Metagross. Not quite enough to take that thing out, even at +1. But it is technically neutral since the Metagross had +1 defense. So, but that is pretty good. That thing's leftovers get knocked off, so it can't heal anymore, as the Oinkologne and the Electros get some HP back with the leftovers. So I think what we'll do here is we'll go for a Drain Punch on the Metagross to try and finish that thing off, and then we're also going to Body Slam on the Victory Bell with the Oinkologne. Victory Bell does wake up this turn, goes for a Sleep Powder of its own, actually does miss the Electros, which is incredible. Metagross, of course, going to be asleep this turn, as it is going to go for the Sleep Talk. What is it going to land on here? It is going to be Metal Claw, so that's interesting. So not going to do too much damage to the Electros there, as the Oinkologne going to get a big Body Slam to do about half damage to the Victory Bell. The Electros going to get a Drain Punch on that Metagross to finally finish that thing off, knocking him down to 3 Pokemon, and of course give us some HP back, as we are going to then get some more HP back with both the leftovers on the Oinkologne and the Electros. So we're looking pretty good here, honestly, which is pretty awesome. So we'll see what he wants to bring in here. In response, it is going to be the Cleaver once again. So that thing's coming in. And so I think what we'll do, we'll go ahead and go for the Supercell Slam, trying to take that Cleaver out, and then we'll also go for a Body Slam on the Victory Bell, and we'll see how that works out. Alright, so the Cleaver going to go for the X-Scissor, going to do some pretty massive damage to the Electros, but we do survive. Victory Bell going to follow it up with a Poison Jab, but we do survive with 18 HP in the red, which is incredible. We go for the Body Slam on the Victory Bell, knocking it out, knocking them down to 2. We go for the Supercell Slam with the Electros on the Cleaver. Not enough to take it out, and unfortunately they are packing Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet chip damage going to finish off the Electros, knocking us down to 4 Pokemon, as the Oinkologne will get some more HP back with the leftovers. So, I think we're going to go ahead and bring now our Orthworm in to face down this situation, as they are going to go ahead and come in with the Feraligatr. So that thing's coming in. We do bring the Orthworm in here, which is going to be good. And so I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll go for an Iron Head to attempt to finish the Cleaver off, and we're going to go for a Body Slam on that Feraligatr, and we'll see where that gets us. And we'll see what they want to do here. Alright, so the Cleaver are going to move first with a Rock Slide. Not going to do much to the Orthworm. Not quite enough to take the Oinkologne out, luckily for us. We're going to get hit with a Liquidation from the Feraligatr, but they take Rocky Helmet Chip, and unfortunately, we get double flinched off of those moves. So the Orthworm and the Oinkologne both getting flinched there, which is extremely unfortunate for us, as we get some HP back with the leftovers. So that was a really awful turn for us. So this turn, we're going to try to fire off an Orthworm Earthquake, and we'll try the Body Slam again, as Cleaver going to go for a Rock Slide again. That is this turn going to get rid of our Oinkologne, knocking us down to 3, which is not great, as the Feraligatr goes for the Liquidation, and unfortunately the Orthworm cannot take it, as we do get some more Rocky Helmet Chip, but that does finish our Orthworm off, knocking us down to just 2 Pokemon. So this is going to be coming down to the wire here. It's all going to be pretty much down to Florges and Goodra here. Both of our special walls, which unfortunately is not going to help us out too much due to the fact that these are both physical attackers. So we're going to come in with those Pokemon here. And I think all we can do... How do we want to play this? I don't think either of our Terras really helps us in this situation. We're going to go ahead and try to Giga Drain on the Cleaver, I think. And we're going to try to Draco on the Feraligatr. I think that's all we got. So now he's going to go ahead and bust out a Terra of his own here. What is he going to Terra? He's going to Terra the Feraligatr. What's he going to Terra it into? It is going to be an Ice type. So that's not great, obviously. So he's got Terra Ice Feraligatr on deck. As going to go for the Rock Slide. Hits the Florges and the Goodra for massive damage. He's got the Ice Punch on deck as well. Goes for it. Unfortunately, Goodra can't take that. So that Ice Punch will finish Goodra off, knocking us down to just one Pokemon, which is bad. And the Florges gets flinched again. So that is, yeah, that is pretty awful. So I think, unfortunately, this battle took a 180, and we're pretty much done for. So all we can do, I guess, we'll just click Moonblast on the Feraligatr, I guess. But Cleaver goes for the Rock Slide. We do survive in the red, but it's not going to matter as the Feraligatr goes for the Liquidation. And that will finish the Florges off. And that is game. So, yeah, we can cut that music off because we are going to lose that one 2-0 to Crispy. That was a good match, though, I thought. Pretty interesting match on paper, for sure, and pretty competitive game as well. Unfortunately, the hacks were certainly not in our favor in that one. More flinches than I could count. But I guess at the end of the day, that is Pokemon. What can you do? But still a good match nonetheless. So that's it. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy. And stay tuned for more new battles in the future. Also, next video I am going to be throwing up for you guys is going to be a special episode of the Captain's Table where I talk about future direction of the channel here, and just kind of give you guys a bunch of updates as to where we're going with future content on the channel. So stay tuned for that. That's it, and we'll see you next time.